how to be profitable in 2024.
Marketing has really changed.
That there is a path to a career within our practices.
Change your website geared more towards them.
The multi-generational communication conflicts.
People aren't coming to you because you're an in-network provider. They're coming to you because they want a beautiful smile.
This is truly what's on the mind of orthodontists.
You know, having that high level of service.
This day and age, it's all about differentiating yourself.
So happy to be here.
Hey, Janelle, thanks for joining us today.
Hi. So happy to be here.
Oh, we're glad to have you. So we're going to get right into it. Okay. We got 4 questions for you. We're asking everybody the same questions, and I cannot wait to hear what you have to say. All right. So Janelle, in your opinion, what is on the mind of every orthodontist that they don't have a solution for?
I would say one common issue that many orthodontists wrestle with is patient compliance. This includes making sure patients are adhering to treatment plans, wearing their elastics as directed, maintaining proper oral hygiene. And that really impacts the doctor's treatment outcome that they prescribed for the patient. So the prescription on wearing WildSmiles Braces isn't going to do the job if the patients aren't doing their job. And influencing that behavior outside of the clinic can be quite difficult.
Okay, great. Yeah, absolutely. So then if we're going to lean into the compliance issue, for example, whether it's rubber bands or oral hygiene, whatever it is that you've outlined.
Yep.
How can doctors or practices lean into these different obstacles to find a solution?
Well, I think they can tackle these obstacles head on by getting creative with solutions. And that may be being with things like apps that, for starters, that can remind patients to keep up with their oral hygiene, doctors staying up to date with the latest tech, and even social media, because social media is a huge piece of tech in the communication world. And maybe even bring in experts in marketing to help grab attention of their patients with great attention-seeking social media content. And I always preach for doctors and team members to involve patients in their own healthcare by getting them involved in some of these marketing efforts. If a patient's put on a billboard showcasing how they do a great job keeping up with their oral hygiene to see their braces shape, you better believe that patient is going to be compliant with their oral hygiene because, they're part of the advertisement. Same goes for if they're part of a social media content piece relating to patient compliance and things like that.
Okay, great. So if I'm sitting here as a practice thinking, okay, boy, there's a lot of things that, I have pulling for my attention. This seems a little overwhelming to me. What are some ways that you think that they could take some of these ideas and what are some examples?
So I would say start off by changing your mindset and just continue to think that social media, for one thing, should be part of the treatment plan and part of the digital workflow of an office. If all team members are on board, not just the TC who's grabbing patient testimonials and doing funny TikToks and things like that, or maybe a clinic lead, it should be an entire team involvement, including the doctor. I think changing the mindset of saying, okay, this is just part of the treatment plan and digital workflow. We're going to go into this. And then how? Well, for starters, they should have someone in the office or outsource someone to get them involved in social media and help enhance that marketing effort, even asking patients to help them. All of these patients, or majority of them, I'm sure, know TikTok and Snapchat and YouTube, and reaching out to them for some advice and maybe collaborating with them and maybe, offering them a discount or whatever it may be to have them help with their social media efforts is going to be huge. And they're going to see a big impact on it as well. Getting influencers in the community, such as like mom bloggers or things like that have gone viral within their community, can be a good resource as well.
Great. I love it. I also love the idea of social media being part of the digital workflow. I love that
100%.
idea.
Yeah.
Tell us about yourself, Janelle. We didn't really get a chance to introduce you at the very beginning. Tell us who you are, what you do, that kind of stuff. We'd love to hear.
Yeah. Well, I am Janelle Baum. I was formerly a treatment coordinator for the last 7 years and turned to sales and marketing rep for Dr. Ben Winters, famously known in the social media world as the Bentist. And I am his sales and marketing rep for his online social media course. And knowing me and knowing my personality, I went from a thriving office, being the center of attention, being the office ambassador and cheerleader, being surrounded by patients and parents and being in that fun environment to sitting at home and talking through Zoom every day to doctors and potential clients. And that I wasn't thriving in. So if you know me, I always need goals to reach and I always need something to go after and something that's really going to help get my creative juices flowing. I continue to be successful with being Ben's sales and marketing rep, but I developed my own business called the Orthodontic Influencer, where I help orthodontic offices and companies think outside the box when it comes to overcoming objectives and barriers in a fun, creative, out of the box way. Social media is a great tool that allows me to do that, but I also help them in all sorts of different other avenues and things like that, and just showing them how they have to pivot and go away from traditional ways of doing things. What they did last year might not work this year. So my creative mind doesn't ever slow down and doesn't stop. So I help offices grow and succeed that way.
I love it. I love it. Well, and I can speak firsthand. You've helped us think about things differently and outside of the box a little bit. Yeah, it's great. And you definitely have lots of ideas.
Thank you.
I love it. All right. So if someone wanted to learn more about you, learn more about the Orthodontic Influencer, where would you point them to?
Yeah. So they can check me out on my website, www.theorthodonticinfluencer. My social media handles are on there, that being on Instagram and TikTok, and that's the_ortho_influencer. But be sure to check me out online. You'll see I have a whole bunch of different services that I offer to both orthodontist offices and orthodontic related companies. And I also have about 17 different training videos that any team member in an orthodontic office can look up and learn from and continue to see creative ways on how to handle all sorts of different objectives that they face in their office.
I love it. And those videos are available on your website?
Yeah, they can either be purchased or rented.
Oh, wow. Great. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, definitely everybody check out the Orthodontic Influencer. All right. Well, so let's finish this up. We've got a couple more questions that I would love, and I know everybody would love to have your opinion on now. So we're kind of moving from this one problem and how to kind of address it to more of an overall industry focus. From a practice level and also at the industry, I think it would be helpful to have your opinion on both viewpoints. Where are practices and the industry vulnerable as you look out into the future?
Yeah, I think it really comes down to, especially in tough economic times, is a lot of people are looking at orthodontic treatment as an elective. So now there's a decrease in patients seeking treatment and not as many starts are happening in the orthodontic practices and things like that. Market competition is tough with the rise of direct to consumer orthodontic solutions and the increasing number of dentists doing orthodontic, aligners in their office is also intensifying the competition, which again impacts the number of patients starting in an orthodontic office.
Okay, so if that's a vulnerability, what are some ways that you think that doctors and the industry can combat that?
I would say it all comes down to, again, marketing and communication. Obviously, they need to market themselves as the experts without shaming these direct to consumer companies or shaming the general dentists that are doing in-house aligners. I think they need to really pivot and get the audience or the viewers to understand what levels of success they have in their office and how this will better or will improve their outcome if they come to an orthodontic office. And that's pivoting towards technology advancements, such as all the 3D printing and imaging and cone beams and scanners and things like that. All sorts of fun-shaped braces are different options. And teledentistry, a lot of these direct-to-consumers don't have those different levels of technology or communication. And this is going to offer opportunities for patients or practices to improve patient outcomes, efficiency, and satisfaction, where those other competitors really don't have that.
I love it. Awesome. Thank you. All right. So let's end on a really positive note here, because we've talked about solutions to places where they're vulnerable and all this, but where are practices in the industry now? Where do you see that we're all poised for success as you look into the future?
I think they really need to focus their success on patient experience. And with that, that can help enhance naturally their online presence and marketing. If they're so involved in the patient's in-office experience, they should be highlighting that through social media and through marketing, because that's going to get their office to stand out and grab people's attention. It's not just the products that they're advertising, it's the experience that they're advertising, all while embracing and investing in technology that really is going to help facilitate patient communication and compliance. So it's a win-win for everyone involved.
I love that. I often tell, and I would love your opinion or thought on this. It kind of goes into what you just said, the Bond Day videos, where your smile reveal. I think those are great. And I think that people should definitely do those. I think, though, that you're missing out on an opportunity to fully tell the story of why aren't we doing bonding day videos? And,
Yeah.
you know, I know with WildSmiles, there's a fun and unique reason to do it, but that's telling a story to a shopper. And so whether it's WildSmiles or not, I would love just your opinion about how doctors can take this story of the patient experience, the full patient experience, and share that on social.
Yeah. So often I find that orthodontic offices really are holding hands at that new patient phone call, the new patient consult, and the new patient start. And then there's all that in between stuff that isn't really advertised on social media. And then on D-band day, they're advertised again. And then the patient fills out a review, and it's a raving review on how fun they had at their D-band and the reveal and things like that. There's not many reviews online that talk about the whole 2 years and the experience they face. So if you're constantly got it on your mindset of patient experience, let's pour this onto social media. There's so many fun things that patients can do if everyone is on board. This is why I really stress that everyone needs to be on the same mindset, and it should be part of the core values, that it's an entire team filled with cheerleaders and ambassadors for that office that's going to naturally enhance that patient experience throughout the whole, treatment time, 2 years, whatever it may be. And it can come down to just creating fun parodies on what happens when you skip an appointment, what happens when you're not wearing your elastics, because all of that turns into educational stuff that's super relatable to the viewers watching, or to really showcase the different type of technology that they have in their office, whether that be, a dental communication like Grin or something like that, or a really cool x-ray machine or a really cool scanner and things like that. All of that can be combined through those years of experiences that the patient experiences while in the office. Even doing things when patients transfer to another orthodontic office because they have to move. Create a D-band video for that patient years later after they got debanded at a whole nother orthodontic office. Don't forget about those transfer patients. They were with you the whole 6 months till they had to move out of state. Still stay in communication with them. All of that is part of the patient experience that should not be forgotten. And that's where my mind constantly goes. Those observation patients, those record appointments, those retainer checks, all of that should be plastered all over social media and be part of the marketing efforts.
Love it. So everything that you're doing is an opportunity for content.
Yep. And to showcase your uniqueness, your patient experience and satisfaction, communication, technology, all the things. It's not just about that new patient phone call, new patient start appointment, new patient consult, and D-band. It's everything in between.
I love it. Yeah. That is something that I think for a lot of people can be difficult to think like, oh, well, we've always done it. So they don't think about it as an education opportunity or a content opportunity. So,
right.
All right.
My name's not the orthodontic influencer for nothing.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Well, so, all right, we're going to end. We've got 2 more questions for you. Now, this is really where the rubber meets the road. Okay. So we talked about all these things. You've identified, a problem that we've kind of gotten some ideas on solutions for. We've talked about where things are positioned in the future, both on the vulnerable side and also on the success side. If I'm listening to this podcast over the weekend and I'm thinking, okay, what is 1 to 3 things that I can take from this and do on Monday?
Ooh.
What is that, that big takeaway that you would suggest they focus their attention on the next business day?
Okay. So a lot of the things I talked about was patient experience, enhancing online social media presence and marketing presence, and embracing and investing in technology. So number 1 is schedule a time with your entire team on Mondays. Make sure you schedule out with your entire team and talk to them about focusing on patient experience and how are you going to do this, and open their eyes on, you're right, guys, we hold their hands and create these wow moments at that new patient phone call and the consult and the start and on D-band day. But what else can we do to work together to continue that wow experience throughout the whole patient's journey? And after you have that meeting, then you need to continue to schedule out other meetings to hold you and your entire team accountable, to circle back to make sure you are nailing down all of those ideas and solutions to help do that. Back to going into enhancing online presence and marketing. Ask the team members. There might be Sally, the assistant, who's really good on TikTok, but she's kind of quiet in the office and whatever. Maybe she can be that social media guru of your office. So first ask your team members, is anyone here willing to take over social media or help with these marketing efforts? And you need to have it be a team involvement and understanding that if one team member who's maybe an assistant is now taking over the social media, that they need to have time set aside in those working hours to devote to marketing and social media. They should be incentivized as well and not be, looked down upon because they're on their cell phone. If they're doing research on social media, that's part of their job and they have to be respected for that. And it should not be expected to happen during lunch hours or after work hours. Also, while we're on that social media online presence marketing thing, duetting with the dentists that are in your area that you're constantly giving thank yous to for referring to your office. Start including them in the social media and marketing. Show that teamwork and collaboration that you have with these general dentists and even specialists. There's so often times that a new patient comes in and can't start that day because they have to go and get restorative work or something surgically exposed, whatever it may be, or make room for implants. Show that collaboration and partnership that you have with these other dentists. So that's another meeting in and of itself of how can we start to market that. And then the third, just embracing and investing in technology. I ask that you guys demo with companies that really focus on tools that facilitate the communication and compliance with your office. There's a ton of great companies and brands out there that do this, and it only takes probably a half hour to an hour of your time. Talk to your team members. Say, hey, when you guys are at conferences or you watch webinars, what are some companies that you've heard of? And if no one really knows and you yourself don't know, then ask your colleagues, get recommendations and start scheduling demos, because that's what's really going to help take you guys to the next step.
Okay. So I love all those ideas. And I think that they seem doable.
Yeah.
They don't seem over the top. Could you restate them for us in just some very easy, bite-sized next steps?
Yeah. So step one, focus on patient experience by getting the whole team involved, having a meeting to discuss how you are going to do that. So it stands out outside of just that hand holding of the new patient phone call, consult, D-band, and then continue to hold meetings to hold yourself and your team accountable. Number two, really enhance online presence and marketing by getting the right people in place to do that, by talking as a group on making sure everyone's aware of everyone's duties as far as that goes, and thinking outside the box by collaborating and partnering with general dentists that give referrals to your office and specialists that you refer out to, and vice versa. Number three, embracing and investing in technology by demoing with companies that really focus on tools that facilitate communication and compliance.
Love it. All right, Janelle.
I'm not a step person. I'm an over detail, over talker, Davin. So
No,
hopefully that came across.
I have a tendency to do the same, but I love it. All right. So I'm asking this like pop quiz question to everybody, and no one has known the question, but it's the same one. Everybody's asking the same one. And I'm excited to hear everybody's answers, but because of your background in improv and just
clowning,
clowning, all of it. I've been really excited to hear what you have to say about this. So what we're doing is, we've talked a lot about the importance of story, right? And the story that we tell, the story that our patients are living, the stories that, like in our case, like that our clients are living, the same for you, that our clients, the practices that are living, and how do we insert ourselves into the story and understand the story from their perspective. Every great story has two things, multiple things, but there's two things. Every great story has a villain and every great story has a hero. So who or what is your favorite villain and who or what is your favorite hero?
When it comes to anything, or like in-office villain, in-office hero?
Oh, well, nobody said that yet, but maybe you can have two. Actually, because I would love to hear your idea of an in-office villain and an in-office hero. But I also, though, want to hear, just in general, your favorite villain and hero from stories, movies, books, whatever.
Right. Okay. So I'm going to go into the practice realm here and experience, because I think this is super relatable and people like to listen to relatable things. So the in-office villain would be that PETA parent, right? Or that overprotective parent, or the parent that's a germaphobe. Now, I never liked when patients or parents came into our office feeling like their guard was up and they were nervous and apprehensive and they were apologizing because of the way they acted, meaning they were, overly worried about germs and things like that. I pivoted. The last thing I want is for a parent or patient to come in apologizing because of their behavior. So I would say, hey, can we turn this into some content? Because I've got a bunch of other moms who are just like you, and let's turn this into content. So the next time a mom comes in and they're apologizing, like, I'm so sorry, I'm a germaphobe, blah, 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 whatever it may be, I can say, hey, we've got other moms just like you. And then go to the computer and press play. And then there's going to be a parody of the types of moms we see in an orthodontic office. And then that way they're like, oh, you understand us. We're validated. Okay. I've done that. The next time that patient or parent with that type of behavior came in with their guard down and they were ready to rock and roll, their fears of being a germaphobe slowly disappeared because they know we embraced it. So it's a villain like that eventually turns into a hero, because those are the parents that talk. Those are the parents that they leave a consult and they're telling all the other moms about the office and things like that, which then turns them into my hero, because there are advertisers. They know that I speak their language. They know that I know their behavior is relatable, and they know that I'm a clown and I'm going to turn it into some sort of comedic parody and embrace them, all while incentivizing them for being that actor or portraying them in my skit, whatever you say. But I would say I really don't have people out there that I'm like, oh, they're such a villain. I think it's behaviors that I don't like. The negative Nancy's I don't like. The heroes out there are the ones that pivot and turn everything into humor and embrace people's negative qualities and overturn it. It's the rule of improv. Yes, and that's what is my hero in life. And those are my villains that I stay away from, who can't yes and, that always want to continue to bring you down and talk the negativity. So I don't have a specific name or people who I'm going to name a hero or villain. It's the type of behavior that I'm going to name. So hopefully I stand out to all the others that you're asking this question to.
Absolutely. Well, of course you stand out. You always stand out.
Thanks. I try. I'm wearing a zipper necklace.
Yeah.
For all things.
Right. By the way, which I love the zipper necklace. I think that's super fun. And what I love about the way that you've set up the hero and the villain is you set it up in a redemptive type situation where, it wasn't pitting the hero versus the villain so much as it was, hey, here's the villain. And if we can engage the villain in this way, then there's an opportunity to redeem the villain.
Yeah.
Which I think in a story, what everybody's rooting for is that redemption story within the story. And so I love that idea. I think it's great. And I think we could all do well to look at the villains and try to view them the way that they are and embrace them the way that they are, and then help them see a better way, or help them see that you understand
embrace them,
which then will turn them not into a villain. So I love that.
Thanks.
Janelle, as always, thank you for your time. Thank you for your insight. Thank you for spending this time with us today. I know you're busy, the new business, everybody that you're helping. So thank you for spending some time with us today.
Thank you. I'm honored to even have been invited to do this. This is great. I'm looking forward to it all rolling out.
We're looking forward to rolling it all out, and we're glad to have you a part of it. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Oh, you're welcome. Bye, everyone.